The question of who is a Jew is further complicated in Christianity by the prevalent idea that Christians are, quote, spiritual Jews. This incorrect belief is based on an out-of-context reading of Romans 2:28 and 29, which says, for example, in the ESV, "For no one is a Jew who is one outwardly, nor is circumcision outward and physical. But a Jew is one inwardly, and circumcision is a matter of the heart by the Spirit." So the way this is misread then is as if Paul's saying that natural-born Jews, those who are Jews physically and outwardly, are not really Jews. But Christians who have the circumcision of the heart by the Holy Spirit in Messiah are inwardly spiritual Jews or true Jews. Alternatively, while some Christians may not read this as if Paul's saying they've replaced Jewish people as the quote-unquote true Jews, many still see him as teaching that if you've been spiritually circumcised in your heart, then you're considered a spiritual Jew. And if we could separate these two verses from the surrounding context, that might all be true. But when we consider the whole of Romans chapters 1, 2, and 3, then it becomes clear that Paul's speaking here not to Gentile believers at all, but specifically to Jewish believers. In chapters 1 and 2, he's already repeatedly compared and contrasted Jews and Greeks several times, not to mention affirming circumcision in chapter 3, verse 1 as actual, literal circumcision, which would contradict the incorrect reading that circumcision is not outward in the flesh. Additionally, it's self-defeating and destructive to the common sense of language to take "no one is a Jew who is one outwardly" as meaning real Jews aren't real Jews, especially given what we've already seen in Galatians 2:15, which plainly says the opposite. We ourselves are Jews by birth or by nature. To be a Jew in its most basic terms, then, is to be physically and ethnically Jewish. You can't actually be a Jew without that. A better translation of this passage, then, is found in the MJLT, which clears things up considerably. Beginning back in verse 25, Paul says to his Jewish audience, "For circumcision indeed benefits you if you practice Torah. But if you are a sidestepper of Torah, your circumcision has become uncircumcision." Verse 28, "For one is not Yehudi, Jewish, who is only so outwardly, neither is circumcision that which is only outward in the flesh. But one is Yehudi, who is also so inwardly, and whose circumcision is also of the heart, in the ruach, in the spirit." To Paul's Jewish audience, then, he's chastising them for their pride in their Jewishness, in their physical circumcision and their faulty Torah keeping. And he's saying that despite any real value that there is in your circumcision, despite any Torah keeping and outward Jewishness in your flesh, you still need the circumcision of the heart in the spirit of Messiah. You, Jewish believer, have no place to be prideful because all those outward things still need to become an inward reality. You need to be a Jew not only outwardly, but also inwardly. The fulfillment of your true Jewishness comes also by the spiritual circumcision of your heart through Yeshua. So not only does this passage not speak to the Jewishness of Gentiles whatsoever, but it turns the anti-Messianic concept that Jewish believers in Yeshua are no longer Jews but Christians on its head. Because if these verses call anyone's Jewishness into question, it's Jews who put their faith in Judaism, not Jesus. What Paul's saying here is that believing in Yeshua is not only not anti-Jewish, but makes a Jew more Jewish than he ever was before.